Alright, what's up, reviewers? This is Smooth the Reviewer, and today I'm going to talk about me finally watching Frieren Beyond Journey's End, the number one rated anime on my anime list, and an anime that was talked about a lot and is still talked about a lot to this day, ever since it aired. What was this? Two years ago, basically, coming up on 2 years ago, this anime has been out, and it quickly became like so popular. Everyone was talking about it, everyone was sharing their opinions, and kind of the reason that I haven't made a video on it yet is because I just wanted to watch it pretty much after all the hype and all that, and I just wanted to like really get like a fresh sort of opinion for myself, and then compare it to what everyone else has been saying. So before going into Free Ren, I kind of knew pretty much, I already knew basically the premise after watching, Giguk's video and, just seeing like clips all over online because you could not escape this anime at all when it came out. So I knew that it was somewhat of a slow burn of a series, and those can be pretty slow burns can be pretty iffy, whether it's anime or any other kind of medium. And then I also basically knew it was like the story is centered around Frieren basically living out her life after the heroes party already defeated the demon lord, and sort of her forming sort of this new party and going on a new journey with these new set of characters, and basically her past experiences with the heroes party is what's informing how she acts now, because because before being in the heroes party she was just very like mute to everything. She didn't really care about much things. So through those experiences she's learning how to basically enjoy life and appreciate the little things. That's really what the whole story is about, just appreciating life and the people and things you have. And so that's pretty much most of what I knew going into Frieren, and then also the whole controversy about demons in the anime, which I'll get into a little bit later. But for now, you can already see the screen. I have it. I gave it a solid 9 out of 10. And that's sort of mostly what this video is going to be focusing on, why it's not a 10 out of 10 like so many people say, even though this is basically just like, this is only, it's 28 episodes, which is a very much amount of episodes, considering nowadays we typically only get 12. But this is still, from what I heard, pretty much only really the beginning of the story. It's like not even, this is basically what we got in this first season was basically just the prologue to everything else. At least that's what I heard. And people, like I said, people are already saying that it's the greatest anime of all time and all of that. And I will say that, okay, yes, it is a very good anime. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get the positives out the way, because what I really wanted to make this video on is just like, did it is it actually does it actually deserve the amount of praise it gets, and why it's not a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. Because other than the three like very minor nitpicks I have for the series, there are only three things that I personally found that I personally didn't like that much with this series, and they add to the fact of why it's not a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. But it's also just the fact that I'm just not, like I said, the series is a slow burn, so it's like, people, and not everyone likes slow burns, but including me. But I will say the series does a great job. It still keeps you entertained, basically, because even though the episodes can get rather slow, there's still a goal that's trying to be met, because this is also a slice of life series kind of, but there's still like a final goal we're trying to get towards inside this first season, which is basically going on the same journey as the heroes party and then reaching I forget what this place is called, but basically heaven, basically in this world. That's what they're trying to get to, and the first season ends with them taking an exam to become first class mages, and eventually move on to the territory where like a lot of demons are. And so what I was talking about it being a slow burn is that there's still enough things in here to keep you entertained. Even though it can be slow, the slow stuff has meaning, and it's like not it's not even really boring. I would say it's not a boring slow burn. It's stuff that has meaning behind it, lots of emotions behind it. Things simply as getting each other birthday gifts, or enjoying just basically helping out other people whenever you can, stuff like that. And then there's also a decent amount of action in the series, okay? And I really want to give the show praise for that, because every now and then you get some amazing action sequences, some drama too. So there's still like conflict in this series, even though, yeah, despite the premise, there's still like plenty of conflict for the people to for the main characters to overcome, and I really like that. And speaking of the characters themselves, obviously, Frieren, pretty good character herself. She talks like she's 1,000 years old, and you can tell by the way she like talks about certain things, and sort of all like the flashbacks. We get a bunch of flashbacks of what she's been through, because she's gone. She had like a trainer before she even was even with the heroes party, and things like that. So she's a pretty good character. And then Fern and Stark, not really too much for me to personally to say about them. I think they're cool too. I you know Aside from Frieren, like all the other characters, like they're fine to me. Like I said, I don't really have too much to say. I think it's a group of characters that work together, and I like Stark because like I like him, but I also feel bad for him because like he gets crapped on by Fern for most of the series. So that I thought that was like pretty funny, some funny moments there. And Fern herself, she's enjoyable at times. Yeah, she's enjoyable, but she's also like she gets like mad at things a lot in the series, and uh didn't really like that aspect of her character that much, but it's a part of her character, so it's like it's whatever really, you know. And so another thing I wanted to praise the series for is, since Frieren has lived for so long, you'd expect no one to be alive by the time she gets this new party, but actually she still has a fair amount of people that know her, that recognize her name, and she's able to converse with them in multiple episodes. So that's another thing I really liked. You know, even though she's gonna outlive everyone else, the anime shows us that like she's not alone. She's not completely alone with like her thoughts and remembering how times used to be back in the day. She's got people like this old dwarf, I think, that guarded one of the villages. She has uh the guy in one of in the exam mark, Doolin, I think his name was. He recognized her name, and like they got to like bond a little bit when they were before they fought. That was pretty cool. So that's another aspect of the show I liked, that Frieren, not she's not completely alone, and then she also has, and then also, yeah, the other dwarf in the heroes party. I forget the dwarf's name, but the dwarf in the heroes party is also still alive, because dwarves live long lives just like elves, but not as long as elves. So I thought that was pretty cool too. Yeah. So, okay. Any other? Any other positives? That's okay. That's all I can think of as of right now. So yeah, like I said, I think the series does. So yeah, I think the series deserves its praise. It's pretty good. I would definitely recommend it to anyone. And so now I guess I'll get into the reasons why it's not a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. So, like I said earlier, it's still a slow burn, not really to my liking that much, but that's whatever. And then the three other small things is number one, at a certain point it feels like they're just village hopping a lot. So since they're going on a journey, like I said, and so naturally characters are gonna go through like multiple towns, multiple villages, and I get that, but it's like, like especially around the time there's this priest that joins the party for a little bit, especially around those episodes, it felt like just village after village after village, just got a didn't really like that a whole lot. And then the second thing I would say is the second here. I'll save the one that I don't like the most for last. The second thing I didn't really like was that people really did praise the animation a lot, and the animation is good, right? I don't want to take that away from it. I don't think I don't think the animation is the greatest, because I think people may have like over like gave that too much hype, but I think it's still pretty solid animation. But specifically with the final fight or the fight in the exam arc, when they have to when they're going into the dungeon, right? And then the final battle is against this clay Frieren. That I remember that episode specifically getting really hyped up before I watched the series. And the thing I didn't like about that was that I just couldn't see anything. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, you can't tell like what the heck is going on at all in that final fight. And listen, I understand that probably is also with the purpose. The purpose why you can't really see anything is because they make it a point in this series that magic is very is very much all about the imagination. The in magic, you can essentially do whatever you want with it. I mean, we all know this. That's kind of just how magic is. It's just a cheat. You can cheat whatever, pretty much. And the purpose of it being so flashy and everything is just to show that, like, wow, you can do like all of this, or like go beyond even this, maybe. And I get that, but I still personally would have just liked to know what was happening. I often hear about how One Piece is like criticized. I haven't seen One Piece, but I often hear how it's criticized that it's just nothing but like flashes and stuff like that. That's what it felt like with that episode specifically. Just all of these flashes and stuff happening. I cannot see anything. I cannot tell like what the heck they are doing at all. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is the biggest thing for me. Okay? My third criticism is that I feel like they call back to the original Heroes Party a little too much for my liking. So, like I said, if you're looking at the screen right now, these people on the left, these guys are the original Heroes Party that Frieren traveled with first, and then this is the new party that she's with. And so Himmel, the hero, the main character of that party, a lot of like basically throughout the entire series, we get a whole bunch of flashbacks that where Himmel is basically just preaching almost to Frieren about like how to specifically enjoy things in life. And Frieren, like I said earlier, she's constantly like recalling these memories, and asking herself like how well did she really know Himmel? How well did she really know her party members? Since like a lot of people like die on her in the blink of an eye. And I want to say I understand why the series is like that. I understand the whole point is that she uses her memories to inform and sort of kind of base her actions with the new party off of, and that's how she learns even more to appreciate life and everything. And I get it. But for me, it's just a little bit of a weird dichotomy that the series is the series is called Beyond Journey's End, and she's supposed to be going on this new journey with a whole new party and experiencing the new things, but also I guess you could experience the same things but in a different way. And just the dichotomy of constantly like calling back to the past in order to send that message just seems a little bit off to me. It's just not specifically to my liking. Again, I understand, like I said, I understand why they do it, but just for me personally, I could have done with just a little bit less flashbacks. Like just a little bit less flashbacks would have been okay for me, because like almost in every episode, Himmel, we get a flashback of Himmel just like telling Frieren how she should appreciate this, or this is how humans do things to show appreciation to one another. And yeah, the series just did a little too much for me. Like specifically the episode where she like lost her ring, Himmel gave her a ring, and then she was like sad and trying to find it because she lost it. And I'm just like, do we really need a flashback there of like Himmel giving her the ring, and then him talking about why she should cherish it or whatever they talked about? Did we really need that? Like, I feel like she could experience these emotions and learn to understand these feelings with these new party members, or yeah, with these new party members, and not have to constantly be like, oh well, Himmel said this, so therefore that's why like I should appreciate this, or like he just tells her why he tells her something, and then she understands like why this is why he said that and why she should appreciate that. When I feel like the whole purpose is that this is a new journey and we've moved past the hero's party. We've moved past the old party, but yet we're constantly being reminded of what they did back then. You know? That was my biggest issue with the series. But again, maybe you guys liked all those flashbacks and everything. It's to each their own. Just again, those three things I listed off were all did not severely hinder the series, but they did add to the reason why it's not a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. And like I said, it's still fantastic series, especially the final exam arc, just amazing. I loved it all. So yeah, those were like everything. That's Frieren. Those were my thoughts. And the last thing I'll say here is the topic of the demons. That's another thing that comes up a lot whenever you talk about Freeman, is the demons in the series, which only show up in like a couple of episodes, but are for some reason are a big talking point. So if you're not aware, the demons of Frieren are seen according to Freeren's perspective, they're seen as like pure evil. They have no redeeming qualities, and they use human words to trick people. And so the debate is that Frieren is basically a racist because she doesn't really give demons the chance to show to be anything besides evil. She thinks they're only evil and they can't do any good whatsoever. And so people think the show is bad or she's wrong for that. And my opinion on that is just I think that's just a ridiculous debate to have. Like the demons show the demons literally show you that they are nothing but evil, okay? So however you want to spin Frieren being racist or not, you can't she's objectively right. She is objectively right that the demons are bad because at least the demons right now that we've seen in the series, they only want to do bad things. They only want to destroy humanity. So Frieren is so objectively right about the demons that it's insane to me that the fictional demons are tricking real people into believing that they are good or can be good creatures. You know, I just think that that whole debate is just silly, and I honestly I don't understand how like anyone can genuinely like watch the series and then come away with that logic. Because I'm telling you, I watched the whole series, and when I got to those specific episodes that people keep talking about, to me, I just thought they were nothing but it was just a nothing but a normal like storytelling plot. Like we have demons that want to attack the human village or town, and and then we have to stop them. Like it's such a basic like premise. It's such a basic story that you see in all types of fiction. So I genuinely don't understand how people got to this extreme of Frieren being racist and everything. like, like how do you watch the series and then come away from that? Yeah, I don't get it. But so yeah, that's my thoughts on the series Frieren Beyond Journey's End. This has been it's been a long time coming for me to make this video, but better late than never. And I can't wait for season 2 to come out, So please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. Did you enjoy the series? Were there any problems that you found with it specifically that kept it from being a perfect series for you? And I guess what do you think about the whole demon debate about Frieren being racist? All right, so that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.